It's me once again, your friend, the needle woman, and welcome to our tutorials for today. I'm trusting that you guys are having a wonderful time. All thanks be to God. First, I want to appreciate you guys for watching my videos, and I want to assure you that I don't take even one view for granted. Thank you so very much. You are the reason I am still here. I appreciate you guys a lot. And then if you are new, you too, you are my friend, and I beg you, please hit on that subscribe button on your phone and also touch the bell so that you'll be getting exciting tutorials from me once I upload it. So to the business of today. Today we shall be doing something very extraordinary. I have a buba, and then I shall be making a fitted top out of it. So these are the items we shall be needing. This is my bridal satin. I'll be using this for the sleeve. The hand is going to be a funnel hand. This is my oganza. Also for the sleeve, I'm going to attach pleats on top of the funnel hand using this oganza material. This is a black fabric because the material I have will not be enough, so I shall be using this one to construct the front. And this is our buba. Unfortunately, I have pieces still, but I'll still show you so that you see it. You can see it. This is our buba. So for this tutorial, I will be drafting it on the paper first. Then with this, I'm going to cut it. The reason is because I'm converting, and if I decide to cut with the material, it may not be enough. So I'm going to cut it on paper and then place on top of my material and then cut it out. Here you can see I've already cut it out, but I'm going to show you how I did that. This, as you can see, is the back of the blouse. This is the back. So I'm going to measure, and for this tutorial I shall be using pen so that it will be very visible. I'm going to measure 1 inch seam allowance here. This is where the zip will sit. 1 inch allowance for zip. Then I'm going to join the measurement. So I'm going to measure our shoulder or the back. And the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 divided into 2 will give us 8. So I mark my 8. That is this place that I already cut. Now I'm going to measure my shoulder to bust measurement. Shoulder to bust measurement. And remember, since I already cut it, normally we use 1 inch for the shoulder slope. And I already put it here. So when I'm measuring, I'll put it into consideration. My shoulder to bust measurement is 12 plus ½ inch seam allowance. That is here. It's supposed to be here. Having done that, I'm going to measure my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 plus ½ inch seam allowance, 4.5 here. So this is my shoulder to bust. This is my nipple to nipple measurement. And then this is my shoulder to bust measurement also. The two of them met here. All right. So now I'm going to measure ½ inch on both sides. Now I'm going to go in here by ½ inch and also towards this side by ½ inch. This is for the dart. All right. So now I'm going to measure 3.5 inches up here. It's still for the dart. 3.5 inches up here, which is here. It depends on how long you want your dart to be. I can decide to put my dart from here down, all the way down, or even from up here all the way down, but I won't be doing that. I would want my dart to stop somewhere here. So 3.5 up here, I'll measure 7.5 inches down, and then I'm going to connect the two of them. You can see that. Having done this, I will now proceed to connect this 3.5 to this my half measurement here. From here also connect it down, from this 3.5 again towards this side, and then down. So this is our dart. Having done that, we're now going to measure the the bust first of all. And the bust I'm working with is 41 divided into 4 will give you 10.25, which is here. I placed my zip on top of where I ruled my line for the zip allowance, 40.25, and then I'll be putting my 2 inches seam allowance, which is here. Now for my waist, the waist measurement is 35. All right, divided into 4, you have 8.75, approximately 8.8. This is our 8.8 somewhere here. So I'm going to put 2 inches seam allowance, that is here. Now coming to our blouse hip. You know, for a fitted blouse, you normally have blouse hip. So coming to our blouse hip, it is 44. That is here. Then I'm going to put my half inch for the, I'm going to put 2 inches seam allowance. That is what you have here. All right. Now the length of our blouse is 25, and 25 is here. I have to rule it so that you will understand it very clearly. So this is our blouse length. Can you see that? This here is our blouse length. All right. I also want the blouse to have a slight curve. I don't want it just straight. I want it to have a slight curve by the both sides. So now our actual blouse length is 25, and then half inch seam allowance, but I'm going to leave all of this so that when I'm folding they will all go inside. So now that is to say that by the time we are done with our blouse, the length should be here, so the curve should come up. So now from this allowance that you left, from this allowance, you can see I measured 2.5 inches. That is above our actual blouse length. I went up by 2.5 inches. That is how I got this point. And then from the allowance I left down here, I just curved it to that 2.5 inches. That is what you are having here. So you can see it. That is how I was able to cut this blouse. And then for the shoulder, I removed my neckline. I made it 5 inches. You can see it, 5 inches. And then for the depth of my neck, I used 3.5 inches because my client doesn't want the neck to go down, but you can actually take your own all the way down and also bring it up more than I just did. And then don't forget our armhole. Our armhole is 9, and then the 9 is here. The 9 is here. Remember, we already measured our shoulder measurement, so I will just determine the midpoint, which is 4.5, and then I will remove my 1 inch shoulder slope, which I already did. Then I just curve it. For an easy and better straight line, as a learner, you should use the armhole curve so that you get it correctly. So this is the back of our blouse. So all right, now we want to cut the front. As you can see, I already cut it, but I'm going to show you how I did that. First, you measure your blouse length, which is 25. This is 25. This one that is left, sorry, this one that is left is the allowance I added to it. You measure your shoulder, and our shoulder measurement is 16 divided into 2 is 8, and that is what I used here. Having measured that, you are going to measure your shoulder to bust measurement, which is 12 inches, and then ½ inch seam allowance that will give us 12.5, and that is this line at the center. Then you are going to measure bust to bust measurement, or you call it nipple to nipple measurement, and the one I'm using is 8 divided into 2 will give you 4, plus ½ inch seam allowance 4.5, and that is what I have here. Then from this shoulder to bust measurement, you go down by 3.5 inches. The ½ inch included here is for this, the allowance up here. So you go down by 3.5 inches. That is what I have here. You also go up by 3.5 inches. Basically, whatever measurement you take down is what you must take up. So that is how I came about these 3 lines. Then for the neckline, I removed 5 inches. For the neckline here, I removed 5 inches. Having done that, whatever that is left is now forming my shoulder. That is here. This is my shoulder, and our armhole is going to come from here down. So now from here, you measure 4 inches from your shoulder down, 4 inches. I already did that. Also remember that you remove your 1 inch shoulder slant, which I also have done. Now you are having something like this. So that 4 inches you removed from up here that you marked, you are now going to connect, use a line to connect from here to this measurement, to shoulder to bust measurement, and then to under bust. But before then, I need to measure this bust point to bust point measurement down, all the way down. So let me just do it first. All right. Okay, so you can see it. This is how it ought to be. But because this is going to be a fitted blouse, and then I want the front to relax very well, I added an extra 1.5 inch down on the allowance, not on the actual length of blouse. You can see where my tape is on the blouse. This is the actual length of blouse, but I went down and added 1.5 inch. You can see it. So now the line you are connecting from here will have to go and meet that 1.5 inch down here. The line you connected from here will go and meet that 1.5 inch down here, and that is how we got this shape. So this now is the center front of our blouse. Can you see that? Can you see that? All right. Now we are going to use this one to cut the side, which also I have done, but I will still tell you how I did it. Now I placed this one that I've already cut on top of another paper. You can see it. Like I told you, you have to make sure that you have 2.5 inches or 3 inches here by this side. That is the one that this center front is covering. It has to be 3 inches standard or 2.5. I normally use 2.5 so that at the end of the day I will be having 2 inches left, except the person is busty. That is when you can use 3 inches so that at the end of the day you are having 2.5. All right, so having placed this one here, I have to mark the point where I put my notch. All right, this is where I put my notch. And having done that, I'm going to proceed to trace out this shape on top of this paper now. All right, so we're done with this one now. So this is what you should have. I hope you can see it. These are the points I notched on this front, so I transferred it here. You can see it, the 3 places. This is the shoulder to bust measurement. This is the under bust. So now, like I said, I'm going to measure 2.5 inches here. You can see it. So that at the end of the day, what I will be working with is just 2 inches, because the half will now become the seam allowance. 2.5 inches here, 2.5 inches, you can see it. All right, so now I will connect a line from this place, from the tip of this armhole down to the shoulder to bust measurement, and then down to the under bust. That is what I just did. You can see it. All right, having done that, you remember we removed 1 inch seam allowance, 1 inch shoulder slant for our armhole. That will now leave us with 8. As you can see it, this is 8. You can see it, this is 8, forming our armhole. All right, having done that, this is our actual measurement. All right, now remember that this place is not straight anymore. I added 1.5 inch here. You can see it. So it is no longer straight. It has taken another shape. Now I want to do that on this one too. So from here, I'm going to add 1.5 inch, which is here, Remember I said you are not adding on the actual length of blouse. This is our actual length of blouse. I went down to add it here. So now I'm going to draw this line from here to connect like this. All right. Okay. Now, having done that, I will cut it off. So I'm cutting it off. All right. Having done that, I will now take our body measurement, placing it like this one more time. So our bust measurement is 41. Divided into 4, you have 10.25, which is here. And then 2 inches seam allowance, that is here. Our waist measurement, which is going to fall under the under bust but a little bit down is 35. You can see where I placed it. This is my under bust. I went down by like ½ inch to place my tape. So our waist measurement is 35. Divided into 4, you have 8.75, approximately 8.8, which is here. And then you have your 2 inches seam allowance. And then our blouse hip measurement is 44, which is this one here. Then you have your allowance. I made this allowance here like this. I can still, at the end of the day, when I'm joining, put it inside. It is not a waste, so that is why I just allowed it like this. Now, having measured this, remember for the back, for the back, what we have left, we went and joined it to the actual hip measurement. So that is what I'm going to do here. This allowance here, I'm going to give it a slight curve to go and meet our actual blouse measurement, and that is why it is having this shape. This is the side of our blouse, this is the center. So I'm now going to place it on top of my fabric and cut. So I have successfully cut them out. This is the front side. I hope you can see. This is the front side. This is the center front. I'm going to be using this plain black because, like I told you, the material will not be enough. This is the center front. This is the sleeve. I've cut it out. I hope you can see it. This is going to be down here. I cut it the normal way you cut your circle sleeve or circle top. That is how I cut this down. And this is the back. So I'm now going to proceed to cut out the lining and line them. So this is the lower part of our sleeve, and I'm going to line it with this organza. So what do I do? This is happening before I line this hand. So now I want to measure out 3 inches. 3 inches. You can see it. 3 inches. Now cut. I will fold it like this. Sew it first. I will join the two together like this. Sew it first, and then I will start attaching it like this. I will start printing it on top of this lower part of our sleeve. As you can see, I have stitched it together. Can you see that? As you can see, I divided this material into 4. You can see it. Into 4. I did not use any measurement. I just casually divided them into 4. So on each of these lines, I'm going to measure 1 inch down like this. All right, so I'm going to do it on these 4 lines, after which I will connect the lines to each other. Okay, so here it is. Now I'm going to print this strap I cut out, this strap of organza that I cut out, on each of these lines carefully. All right, I've finished the lining. I've also printed the cutout strip organza. You can see how beautiful it is. I've also lined my blouse. Remember I said it's double lining for lace. I've inserted that. I've joined at the shoulder. Now the next thing is to insert the zip, after which I will now insert the sleeve. I have successfully inserted the zip, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join the front and the back together. So our bust measurement is 41 divided into 2 is 20 and half. 20 and half. Our waist measurement is 35 divided into 2 will give you 17 and half. And then our blouse hip measurement is 44 divided into 2 is 22. So I'm going to proceed now and sew it like this. I will go to my machine, sew it down, and when I'm done, I will come back for the sleeve. Having successfully inserted the zip, as you can see, and then joined together. Can you see that? Next thing I will do is to join the sleeve. This is our sleeve. And our sleeve measurement is 13. So I will measure out 6.5. I'm also going to measure the armhole here and make sure it corresponds with this place. You can see I have stitched it. So this is our sleeve. The next thing will be to now take this one, pass it from the right side. Can you see? This is on the right side. This one too is on the right side. So I'm going to pass the right side through the right side like this, and then sew it round. Can you see it? I have successfully inserted it. You see how beautiful it is? Now I'm going to, this is the right side again. This is the right side. So I'm going to place this right side at the point where I joined, and then this armhole where I joined them, I'm going to place them together from the right side and then turn like this, and then sew it round. All right, I've inserted the sleeve. Can you see how beautiful it is? This is so very lovely. Now there is remaining one thing I will do more. I'll still do the other part of the hand. The next thing, you can see these roses I made out of this fabric, and you can see the center of this fabric. I added this trimming and these roses because I don't want the center to be plain. So I just attached the trimmings and constructed these roses by myself. Now I'm supposed to put here, but because I haven't lined it before I put the roses, you can see there is no stitch coming here, coming out from this side. If I did here, I won't be able to line here and get it well. That is why I did not attach here. Now I'm going to attach this one here. I will do it and then I'll fix the other hand, and that will be all. So now we are done. You can see how beautiful it is. Just take a look at the sleeves. Very lovely. I'm going to put it on my body so that you appreciate it more. So look at me. Check out the sleeves. Remember where we made this from buba, and then we converted it to this. Please subscribe and subscribe again. Thank you guys for watching. Until we see again in our next class, I love you from the bottom of my heart, and take good care of yourself.